Two teams pushing for a final spot collide, trying to hunt down that 6th position, and Woodville and Port Adelaide have combined to bring us a live stream tonight in Adelaide, South Australia on beautiful Ghana land. Good evening, everybody. I'm Eric Ballner. I'm joined by the president of Woodville Baseball Club, Tim Fawcett, and professional pitcher and Port Adelaide Magpie, of course, and Adelaide Giant. We'll just add the list. Jack O'Loughlin, thanks for joining me for today's game. Two teams, both finding some okay form lately. Both teams trying to hunt down Southern Districts for that 6th spot. It should be a pretty good game. Jack, thanks for joining me.
Hey, pleasure to be here. Thank you very much.
Tim, thank you for setting this up.
Thanks, Eric and Jack. Yeah, that's great. Looking forward to a good game.
Those are look at the numbers. Both teams are going to want to keep the runs off the board, and there's Josh Tolles delivering the first pitch of the game going against Anthony Webster. Josh Tolles will get his numbers on screen in a second, but he's been on Team Australia for the last few years, pitched as high as AAA with the Philadelphia Phillies. A South Australian, pitched for the Giants, won Claxton Shields with the Melbourne Aces, a man that doesn't need much of an introduction. He's a pretty good pitcher, Jack.
He's definitely a very exceptional pitcher, that's for sure.
We were kind of talking before the broadcast. When Josh Tolles is on, what is it about him that makes him on?
Well, when he has curveball working for him, it's night and day. He's already an exceptionally hard pitcher to hit against. I faced him when I was younger, and he's not the guy that you want to be facing when he has everything working for him.
Anthony Webster up to bat, and he swings through it, and there's the first strikeout of the day. Both pitchers tonight have a very high strikeout rate, and Josh Tolles gets the first one motored down. Tim, I'm sure you've loved having Josh Tolles in his stints between his professional seasons coming back to Woodville.
Yeah, he's a homegrown boy, Josh. Been a junior at our club, so we've been really happy to have him back. He's in a pitching coach at the moment, so yeah, it's been great to have him back in the mix, in the playing mix.
Flynn McKee up to bat for Port Adelaide, hitting 175 on the season, but he's one of this, probably a very young Port Adelaide side, isn't it?
Oh, yeah, for sure. Our team this year is probably one of the youngest teams Port Adelaide have had in quite a long time in their A grade. Said we got Flynn here. I believe Flynn's 16?
Yeah, he's not old.
17 maybe at most. He is extremely young, and even guys like Brody Ariola and Jack Stead, they're still 20 and 21 years old. Like, they're not an extremely old bunch. And
it's a good point you make. Brody Ariola, he'll be batting next. He's hitting 400 on the season. It's one of the best marks in the South Australian baseball competition. But yes, only 20 years old, and he's kind of expected to lead this team, isn't he?
Yeah, I think him and Jack Stead are there to lead this team and do what they can do to help build the club in a way that.
Well, Jack, you said that if his curveball is locating, that's when you know Tolsey is on, and he just threw a breaking ball that just caught the edge, and he got Flynn McKee to strike out. That is scary stuff from Josh Tolles.
Pretty nasty, yeah. I wouldn't like to be facing it.
Brody Ariola up to bat. This should be a pretty good matchup. Brody Ariola having a fantastic season, hitting 400. He's got 4 home runs, 17 RBIs. He's only struck out 4 times this year. That's one of the best in the competition for as many at-bats and plate appearances as he had. Is he a tough out when you're facing him in general?
Honestly, I haven't really faced Brody much. I've played with him almost since we were in under 12s. I believe it was the first time I played with Brody, and since then we've been kind of just playing together along the age groups, and we played together with the bite when there was a bite. We played together.
Chopped over towards
with
third.
The Giants.
Wienert makes the play. Brody Ariola goes down. So yeah, you and Brody, good friends, I guess, growing up.
Yeah, we've been friends together now for quite a long time.
Well, a 1-2-3 inning for Josh Tolles gets the inning retired. Woodville sitting at 8-10 entering this game. Port Adelaide sitting at 7-11-1. 15 points for them, 16 points for Woodville. The winner of this game moves ahead of each other in the standings. Winner of this game is likely going to move to the 7 seed and be the team that's trying to hunt down Southern Districts for that last spot with just about 11, 12 games to go. It's a very tight competition. That's a look at the batting order of the Magpies that you just saw those first 3 go down. Let's take a look at the batting order for Woodville Baseball Club. They're about to bat, and this is a Woodville team that has a very high batting average. They're hitting .290 as a team. It's one of the best in the competition. And Wade Moore, Troy Nicholson, and Cesar Perez, probably the ones, Tim, that really lead the charge for you.
Yeah, Wade and Troy very consistent hitters, both hitting above 400 this year, playing really good baseball. Again, both juniors at our club to start with. Caesar's been in our club second year now, so yeah, he's a top outfielder, really good player. Was a minor league signing when he was younger. So,
Dusan Ruzic, he doesn't need much of an introduction in South Australia or really across Australia. He's been on the national team for, 13, 14 years. Those are, look at his numbers this year, a very high-volume strikeout guy once again. And what's he like having as a coach this year?
He's been really good to have as a coach. Personally, as not every day you get a manager that understands the pitching side of things as well. So it's been nice to be able to work with Rue again out in the field, and him helping with my pitching and just little things that, he's been around for so long now that he understands baseball better than most people out there. And when it comes to pitching, he's almost done everything. So he's got a lot of help that he can, or guidance that he can give.
This is a heavyweight matchup in terms of pitching in the South Australian Baseball League, but also two players that played ABL in the last time the ABL was going around, and two players that were on the last version of Team Australia in Josh Toll versus Dusan Ruzic. So if you're watching at home, enjoy. You've got a great pitching matchup.
You sure do.
Wade Moore leads things off. What a season he is having, really breaking out this year. He's hitting .449. That's second in the competition behind Jeremy Creswell. Heard of that guy before, too. He's got 5 home runs and 18 RBIs. Wade Moore, 18 RBIs from the leadoff spot. It's hard to do. Ruzic ahead early. Finds the plate again. What does Ruzic throw that makes him effective?
Ruzic's a big slider guy. He relies heavily on his slider from that arm slot he throws on. But at the same time, it's also, he's got a really good fastball on him, He's been around, he knows how to locate.
Just inside. It's got to be intimidating facing a guy that is already tall as it is, and then you add another couple feet with the mound. 1-2 count to Wade Moore. And he fouls one away. Just trying to stay alive and fend something off. Josh Tolles in his first inning went strikeout, strikeout, ground out. Twilight games, a fixture of post-Christmas in South Australian baseball. Normally games played, well, this year they've moved to a Saturday. Is it more of a challenge playing these Twilight games, do you think?
They are. It's tough for a lot of people because a lot of people work, so they come straight after work to have to play and warm up. And it's a quick, out the car, get changed and into it. So, yeah, probably the Saturday to Tuesday breaks a little bit more better. They get a 3-day break now instead of 2.
1-2 count to Moore. Swings through it. So the first batter, first strikeout, just like Josh Tolles did. Dusan Ruzic does the same thing, and it's 1 down.
There's that slider there that we were talking about earlier, that he relies on it heavily, and once again, there it is. Brings it out in a 1-2 count.
Todd Dunstall up to bat. A lot of familiar faces between these two clubs, isn't there? There's probably not a lot of love lost either between the two, and probably a game both teams want to win, isn't it? Dunstall hitting .233 on the season. Troy Nicholson follows, as well as Cesar Perez, and those guys are RBI machines. And he hits one up the middle. Brody Arriola at short, gathers across the diamond. Oh, that was a lot closer than maybe it needed to be.
Yeah, it was a very close play.
Making the catch over at first is Todd Trebilco. Let's see if we have a look at this on the replay. Maybe not. They are there. They do exist. So 2 quick outs. Wade Moore down, Todd Dunstall down, Troy Nicholson up to bat. Hitting .424 this season, 6 home runs, 23 RBI. Also has pitched a little bit. There's a look at the replay. Here's the throw from Brody Arriola. Probably didn't get all he wanted on that, eh?
That was a close play. He made it close.
Troy Nicholson, though, is this even a breakout year for Troy Nicholson, or is this kind of what you expect?
Troy's pretty consistent. He's a very aggressive hitter, Troy. Goes after the pitching. So, he won't die wondering for sure. So, no, Troy's, good consistent hitter year in, year out.
Rue shakes off a pitch. 0-2 count. Already 1 strikeout this inning. Tries to go up high and just misses. Shaking off the catcher. He's the manager, he's the pitcher. How much choice really does Rue have, or how much choice does Hulse have behind the plate?
I feel as though Rue has all the power in this situation.
Chops at one. This goes into an awkward gap in towards shallow left field, and diving onto it. Shrapnel tried to make the play, and Nicholson's going to get into second.
It's a tough play. Every ballpark's a little bit different. For instance, you know, you play at Port Adelaide Baseball Club on a twilight game, and the batter can't see. But you come over to Woodville, and diamond's facing the opposite direction, and all of a sudden, a fly ball out to the outfield, and your center fielder can't see the ball.
So Ryan Trapel had to move all the way in, and he just couldn't quite get there. That was a tough, shallow one. Would have been tough for Brody Ariola to move back as well.
Oh, yeah, for sure. It's tough. It's swirly out there too tonight. It's quite windy. I was out in the diamond earlier, so it's yeah, pretty blowy. So it's yeah, not easy to pick up.
It's a great point, Jack. You get the diamonds in different configurations, and it becomes hard. You go to Kensington at twilight, and you have shadows all the way across the field.
I feel as though the twilight games, as you were talking before, they really do bring a different type of baseball game to the everyday 4 o'clock on a Saturday.
Cesar Perez up to bat, and he's an RBI machine, but it goes up the middle. Vasek gathers over to first, and they make the out they need to make, so it's a clean inning. We're underway and through 1. Woodville and Port Adelaide bringing you a live stream. It's 1-0 after 1, or 0-0 after 1, sorry. We'll be back. Woodville and Port Adelaide bringing you a live stream of some Tuesday twilight games. Patrick Inglis leading things off for a very young Port Adelaide side. Josh Tolles on the mound. He got 2 strikeouts in the first inning. Both these teams have a lot of crossover in terms of players that have played for both clubs before, so I'm sure there's some friends and enemies maybe between the 2 teams, but a lot of crossover between it. We were just kind of running through the list before. There's quite a number, isn't there, that's played for both?
There's quite a few guys that have played for both teams, and you've got probably a handful of guys on Woodville now that played for Port last year, and you know, Rue used to play for Woodville for a little bit as well.
Yeah, Troy Wienitz was a junior with us and then went to Port and back with us now. So yeah, glad to have him back. And Chris Sims was the former coach at Port's our assistant coach now. So,
well, it looked like it's going to be fair. Oh. Not quite.
Not quite.
Not quite.
I think you can see it right off the bat, especially at this time. Both teams just kind of fighting the sun and the perception of where that ball was going. Wade Moore got called off, or both. Troy Wienert over at third was trying to move in there. But that's the diamond. Wienert, Nicholson, that's your third baseman and shortstop. Todd Dunstall at second. Luke Rackabrandt over at first. Former Port Adelaide Magpie. 2 Port players, or former Port players, on each end of the diamond here for Woodville.
It is.
Both teams trying to hunt down a final spot. Both teams have had some ebbs and flows this season as Tolles delivers. That fouled away. Woodville started 2-5. Port Adelaide started 3-2, but then they lost 5 in a row and were 3-7. Since then, 4-4-1, but they're 0-8 versus top 6 teams. That probably needs to change if they want to make a run to the final. Woodville, though, just 2-7 versus top 6 teams, with those wins coming against Southern Districts. But they're both sitting 4 and 5 points out, respectively. Woodville were 6-5 at Christmas. They lost a few games out of the break, but have stabilized things a little bit as of late. And now it's about making that push for the finals.
That's right. We dropped a couple that we wanted to win straight after Christmas, which hurt a little bit, but...
chopped over towards third. It's a really tough play on the back foot. Troy Nicholson called out. We're going to get a replay of this.
We might even get a little challenge here.
Here's a look at the replay. It was Nicholson moving back. That is a tough play.
Looks like we're about to get a challenge here from...
He was absolutely safe. Take a look at this replay again.
The ball wasn't even in
his hand.
In his glove.
There's no doubt about it. Called out.
I don't know.
Might have blocked his view a little bit, I think, just looking at it front on. The umpire wasn't in a great position. He was a bit
He
blocked.
might have been behind the first baseman, not being quite able to see the ball.
Yeah.
But the ball wasn't in his glove. So Todd Trebilco comes up to bat. But John Inglis, or Patrick Inglis, sorry, probably should be.
He probably should be on. He should be on first base right now.
Even if he caught the ball, he looked close to safe too. That inside. So Woodville get a bit of a break there. 4 up, 4 down. It goes down in the scorebook for Tolsey.
Yeah, it does. And right now, like, because he's had that leeway, he can, like, that curveball just there, it was down, but he can rely on throwing it a little bit more, even though it's not working, just to try and get it to work. For that reason of, you know, no one's on. He's got one out now.
This is the play we're talking about, and this one hit up the middle. It takes a funny bounce. What a weird bounce off the infield. Kind of gets him on base. Todd Trebilco. It could be runners on first and second, but Trebilco has a hit up the middle.
Caught that lip and just bounced over him.
Yeah, really bad hop.
That's a Port Adelaide bounce off of a Woodville call earlier. It's kind of evened things out maybe a little bit. Because if that's hit up the middle with a runner on first, it's an easy step on the bag.
It is. It's, you know, your second baseman and shortstop are shading up the middle for the double play, and
baseball's a funny way of working things out, doesn't it?
It does. The ball never lies.
And that ball just told a whole lot of truth going into center field. So Todd Trebilco's aboard. John Hall's up to bat. A few players on Port Adelaide this year getting a bigger opportunity playing Division I. Now, I stand corrected if I'm not, but John Halls has played a little bit of Div 2 before, and he's played some Div 1 as well, but up and down mainly, and this year he's been kind of the mainstay.
Yeah, so I believe last year, Halsey caught Div 1 most weeks for us.
And he hits one up the middle. It might be an awkward gap. It's back to the wall, and it falls. Trebilco getting the wave around second. Hall's going to go to second, and it's runners on second and third on a good piece of hitting from John Halls.
There's a nice double off the center field fence. It's always a good confidence booster as well.
Yeah, he launched into that, got carried, nice carry into the fence. So, yeah, did a good bit of hitting.
See Cesar Perez trying to move back and track that down. So Nick Vasic, the first scoring opportunity of the game.
Nick Vasic? No, this is Michael Schrappel.
Oh, we've got maybe a change in the lineup from what was given to me a bit earlier. That's okay. Mike Schrappel up to bat. Good catch, Jack.
But as we were talking about before, this is another young kid that hasn't really played a whole lot of A-grade baseball before, but this year is getting a good chance.
He certainly is. He does have 6 RBIs on the season. He's got 13 walks. That's second on the team, so he's got some discipline on the plate. .390 on base percentage.
He's doing well considering I believe this is his first.
That goes straight up in the air. Someone's got to fight that in the sun. Dunstall is the one looking for it, and it drops.
Oh, there's your on base percentage. Finds a way.
Well, you know what? This is kind of funny. You missed that. The Patrick Inglis is out when he was certainly safe, and now you've had a ball lost in the sun and a ball up the midfield, up the infield, and things have kind of evened out here. And it's bases loaded with one out.
Yeah, how it's turned with. That's baseball for you.
Now it's Nick Vasic up to bat. He's been around for a while over at Port Adelaide. A couple big hits in the couple grand finals when Port's run. Went to back-to-back grand finals, just couldn't quite get there.
We couldn't quite get it over the line. There's that curveball from Tolsey again.
Sort of a similar story to Woodville a couple years ago, too. And Vasic is going to score the first run of the game. Runner getting the round around or third, rather, and it's a 2 RBI single for Nick Vasic. And it's a 2-0 ball game.
Yeah, that one hurts a bit. The dropped catch there could have been 2 out, but yeah, have to move on.
So Vasic will collect some more RBIs to his name. He's got 8 now on the air. We got there in the end. Kane Woolman.
It's a pretty close pitch.
Does Kane play softball too?
He does not.
No. For some reason, I thought there was. I was asking you because you've played some softball. You play some softball.
I have. As far as I know, Kane does not play softball.
Then I'm just going crazy. Either way, Kane Woolman up to bat. A late in today in the lineup at the designated hitter spot. He has played 8 games this year. He's got 20 plate appearances. And Tolsey finds the inside edge.
It's a pretty good pitch there.
Yeah, nice pitch up in the zone. Good pitch to get in front.
Still just 1 out in the inning. In what has been a wacky one. It started with the bobble over at first base. That was called out. Then Trebilco had a ground ball that had eyes up the middle. He gets on. John Hulse with the double. Mike Schrapel gets on, and Nick Vasic brings 2 home. Now Schrapel at second and Vasic at first. But these are twilight games. Weird stuff can happen. And there's that loopy curveball from Josh Tolles.
That pitch is not going to be easy to hit when it's located that well. Down in the zone and...
Yeah, beat him all ends up a bit there, didn't he? He was very late.
Yeah.
What does that look like from the batter's perspective? Oh. Probably a swing Kane Woolman wants back to.
Yeah.
Anthony Webster getting an opportunity at the top of the lineup this year. 329 on base percentage. He's got a home run, 10 RBIs.
You see Tolsey now, he's got 2 out. He's knuckling down a little bit, trying to be a little bit more crafty than just using his fastball too much right here. He's relying on his curveball a little bit to try and steal a few strikes or force some weak contact.
Webster struck out the first time he was up to bat in the first inning.
He's fallen behind a bit here, 3-0, I think. So, yeah, he's got to really challenge the hitter now.
Good pitch down and in.
Just looking to find some part of the plate.
When you're behind 3-0, you don't want to give up 3 bases when there's 2 out. So you're trying to make sure it's close, but it's not too hittable.
Well, now he's got a full count situation, so the runners will go. He's got Webster once. Can he get him again? 2 runs this inning already for Port Adelaide. Here's the pitch from Tolsey. And it's just inside, so It's a walk to Anthony Webster, and the big inning continues, and the bases are juiced for young Flynn McKee.
I'm a little surprised Halsey decided to go with the curveball there in that situation. It's a very risky pitch, but I guess when you're behind 3-0 and you've already thrown him 2 fastballs, to get back to full count, you've got to try something else.
Credit probably to Anthony Webster for laying off of it.
It was definitely a very close pitch. It was a very borderline pitch, and it could have went either way.
Flynn McKee struck out the first time, and he's behind 0-2. Big moment for the young player here.
He's got well in front here now, so hopefully he can push one past.
I definitely wouldn't be surprised here if you see another fastball from Tolsey. Yep, there it is. Tolsey would know, you got a young kid in the box. Beat him almost with 2 fastballs, 2 late foul-offs, and kid will probably be expecting the breaking ball, but...
Well, the count even back up at 2. Flynn McKee showing a bit of patience here. Flynn McKee couldn't have had too many games on a live stream, eh?
Oh. This might be...
Oh, and he's called out on strikes. Josh Tolles gets that curveball just to drop in the right spot. It is his 4th strikeout of the day, his 2nd of the inning, but a string of hits and a few wonders in the field for, well, from a Port Adelaide perspective, it makes it a 2-0 game. Big thanks to all the sponsors. We'll start with our Woodville sponsors. Tim, a big community here, and these are some of your key sponsors.
Yeah, we do. We have a good lot of sponsors. The Lakes Hotel, our major sponsor. Also, the Barbecue Inn at Glenelg, Henley Motors, Tonkin Accounting, Metropolitan Machinery, Seaton Park Meat Store, Supply All Our Meats, Trident Built, My Pool Guru, More Maintenance Electrical, Baker's Delight at St Clair, the Pancake Kitchen down the port, and APC Plumbing and Gas, J Duggan Painting, JP Solar and Electrical, and Kidman Park Pizza House. So we thank them for their ongoing support. We also have a lot of community sponsors. We have a community mining club, so a lot of our own members sponsor too. So we thank everyone. Really appreciate it.
Have you been to the Barbecue Inn before, Jack, on Jetty Road in Glenelg?
I have not.
Ethan and Luke's family business, the Mercurios.
Oh, really? I have not been there.
Oh, man. It is a good spot. Do you remember that when we had the Latte Giants, the big league Korean team that came in? They all went down there for a big feed when we were down here, and they just, that's a good spot, Tim. I'm sure you've been there.
It's a good spot, yeah. They do a good meal, yeah.
Authentic, family-owned, barbecue place. You got to head down there.
That's interesting.
Ethan and Luke's place.
That's interesting.
Put it on your list before you go back to America.
Might have to.
When do you head back to America?
I'm not 100% sure yet. Still waiting on due to some COVID issues again throughout the world.
Is it also how much does the current strike in the MLB impact organizations from top to bottom?
So the MLB strike only really affects 40-man players.
Yeah.
So anyone on the 40-man is the only people that will get affected currently in this time. Your minor league players will still play their season as far as everybody knows. So that'll be
Troy Wienert follows this up if he's at to bat. So the 40-man mainly makes up obviously those 25 that are on the active roster, but then you have a lot of those AAA guys that does that mean you're going to get some guys that might be usually playing a bit of a lower level, maybe your high A or double A, that get the call up to fill up some rosters potentially?
I believe that will be the case, because at this point, if you can't have 40-man players playing, then there will be 15 spots in, I'd say, AA and AAA that will be open for other minor league players to fill.
Had a good chat with Curtis Mead today. That interview will go on the In the Bullpen show tomorrow night as Ruzick finds the plate. And Curtis flat out said, this is just a direct quote. He talks about what his expectations were laid out from the organization he's in with the Rays, and they said, be ready for February 20 because we want you at big league camp. But then in the same breath, they also said, don't expect anything to happen February 20 because it's probably not going to happen.
Yeah, that was
This one chopped up in towards the right field. Moving back under it is Nick Vasic, who makes the out. Sorry, Jack.
No, that's all good. Yeah, that's the kind of the same things have been going around. I talked to some of our coordinators, and they said similar things, that they're not really sure what's happening, but at the same time they have like dates that they're like, if things start, be ready, but at the same time don't expect too much because we don't know too much to start with.
They're meeting, I guess, tomorrow, Tuesday time in the United States, and there was progress the last time. So usually these strikes get resolved always at the very end. And we're getting close to the very end because February 20 is less than 3 weeks away.
Yes, so it'll be either resolved quickly, or I would probably say it might not be resolved for a while.
But we're starting at a late season date. But minor league baseball would still go ahead.
Yes, minor league baseball is still, as far as I know, predicted to start early April.
Luke Rackabrent swings through that.
So in a way, it's kind of nice for guys probably that aren't on the 40-man roster, because at least they have some type of idea of what's happening.
So you know you're going to be playing some baseball.
I know I'll be playing some baseball, but
you don't know where.
No.
Rackabrant up to bat, 1-1 count. Former Port Adelaide players come over towards Woodville. What kind of impact have guys like Luke Rackabrant and Troy Wienert, who's come back, and guys came over with Chris Sims, obviously? What kind of impact have they had on the Woodville side?
Luke's been really good. Good experienced ball player. You know, good, again, aggressive hitter. Plays well in the field. So yeah, he's been a good addition to our squad. We've probably been lacking a good hitter or two in our starting 9. So yeah, struck out there, but yeah, he's had a good impact. Hit a few long balls for us as well.
Second strikeout of the day for Dusan Ruzicki. Just went around Rackabrant.
Yeah, just.
You'll see, I think you'll see it here. We'll get a good look at the replay.
Looked like a change-up from Ruzik there. Maybe his split finger. But a good located pitch, and looks like he got him just to chase. Just enough.
Daniel Chapman up to bat. The Chapman brothers make up the bottom part of this lineup. Daniel Chapman hitting .217. Joel Chapman following. He's been pitching as well, but he's hitting .310 on the year. This team as a whole hitting .290 Woodville. Hitting's not the problem. It's probably holding some teams in check with the runs right now is what they're trying to stop.
It is. And trying to get those wins against top 6 sides. You know, we've held our own with the bottom sort of 7 sides, but yeah, having those wins against the top 6 sides is what we're really craving. You know, to try and push for playoff action. But yeah, we're getting there.
I reckon you're going to have some opportunities. Both teams coming up. Both teams with some crucial stretches of games. Oh, that one slips away. Big one for Port Adelaide. Port Adelaide tonight, they'll obviously be looking for the win, but they play Southern Districts coming up on Saturday. So a huge week for Port Adelaide's season, really, if they're playing one of the teams they're chasing to hunt down, and then they get to play the team they're hunting. Woodville play tonight, and then they play a team below them in the standings. And at this point in the season, I know every team can beat everybody, and Glen Elk gave Port Adelaide all kinds of trouble last week, but that's a game that you probably circle from a Woodville perspective, saying you got to win these games late in the season.
Well, they touched us up at Glenelg.
They did
2-3 weeks back, so we're
15-1,
pretty wary. So we need to really, lift our game from that. That was a very disappointing loss. The playing group that really hurt. So yeah, that's a must-win game for us.
Chapman aboard with the walk. Daniel variety of Chapmans. Joel Chapman now up to bat.
Looks like we've got a little problem with the count. Someone's forgotten the count. Yep. Looks like it was ball 4.
So we're all good.
I think we are.
Joel Chapman up to bat. Yeah, Port Adelaide last week played Glen Elk 1 week ago in the Twilight game, and it was Patrick Inglis home run that tied things up in the last inning?
No, it was
someone tied it up late.
Patrick, I believe. So in the last inning, someone got a walk. I think it was David Sims walk to lead off the inning,
This hit over towards third. McKee makes the play over at second, and they get out of the inning. We'll keep chatting some baseball when we come back, but Port Adelaide and Woodville putting on the live stream for us tonight. It's 2-0 after 2. Welcome back to Woodville District's Baseball Club. Woodville and Port Adelaide putting on a live stream tonight. Josh Tolles, Dushan Ruzic going at each other. Eric Ballnar here. You've had Jocko Lachlan on us on the call so far. He's with the Detroit Tigers organization, an Adelaide Giant with Port Adelaide. Now joining us, also an Adelaide Giant, but with Woodville Baseball Club, playing for the women's team and for the twos. It's Carly Moore. Carly, welcome to the broadcast.
Thank you. Happy to be here, Eric.
I like it. I get to call a game with two legends, living legends of the game right now. Carly, you've been watching from the where, just down the third base line there. What have you seen so far in this one?
Definitely a pitching duel. I think Josh has done really well for us. It would have been nice to make a few more of those outs, but yeah, it's been a very interesting game so far.
2-1 count to Brody Areola. Brody, we were talking earlier in the broadcast, Jack. You and Brody have gone way back. What do you think Brody's biggest asset is as a ball player?
His ability. He's just an athlete. Like
Brody athlete, baby.
He's just a pure athlete. Playing football all his life as well has been a huge help to his ability to play outfield. That's his biggest strength is his ability to play outfield.
And he gets hits off Team Australia pitchers like Josh Tolles. It's a single for Brody Areola out into left field. They've got a few hits off Tollesy now. Tolles with 4 strikeouts on the day. But he gives up the leadoff single to Brody Areola. Now Patrick Inglis, who was robbed of a base hit earlier. Little smirk on your face, that one, Carly?
I thought that was an interesting call, especially considering the fact the ball was in the air when he crossed the base. But, yeah, I mean, final decision.
We were saying the ball doesn't lie because later on there was that infield single that hopped off the dirt.
I know,
and then
I
the
thought
ball
that was a bit of baseball karma right there.
Carly, you're back after a couple, six weeks off with injury?
I think it was 8 in total. Yeah, it was probably the longest 8 weeks of my life, but I'm definitely happy to be back playing now.
Were you just going crazy? Because I feel like you're just playing baseball year-round.
Yeah, I was a little bit.
Ooh, hard hit foul ball.
I took on a bit of coaching while I was injured, which I found out was a lot harder than I thought, but it was good to still be involved in the game.
What do you mean harder than you thought? What were you expecting and what did it turn out to be?
It's just thinking constantly, and when you forget about something, it happens. So, yeah, I definitely underestimated, especially being at third, just how much control you actually have of the game.
Jack's just nodding his head. Areola checks back. He is a threat to steal some bases, Brody Areola. And he'll creep out once again. Even count here to Patrick Inglis.
Wouldn't be surprised here. It's a close game, but, you know, Brody could try and steal a base here and maybe get himself in a scoring position with none out.
Yeah, like you were saying, he's very athletic. It's interesting to see that he can transfer into shortstop as well. That obviously says a lot about his game.
Normally playing out in center field. Though Patrick Inglis has been playing center field for Port Adelaide for a while, hasn't he? Or at least in the outfield.
Patrick Inglis came over in 2000 and I want to say maybe like 2016 or 17. He came over to Port Adelaide from Southern Districts.
Hey,
and I think ever since then he's been playing center field for us.
Hit a couple home runs in those grand finals. Both these teams, it was kind of shifted eras because Woodville went to those back-to-back grand finals and they couldn't win one, and then Port Adelaide did the same thing.
Yep, we tried, but we couldn't quite get across the line to win one.
Now Goodwood have gone to back-to-back grand finals and haven't got one. There's that hook from Tolsey. And he strikes out Patrick Inglis.
That's really fun to watch, that pitch.
Have you caught Josh Tolles before, even in bullpens?
Yeah, I've caught his bullpen before. I definitely have learned a lot from him because, you know, we quite often will have a discussion about just pitching in general. And yeah, he has really great control of his pitches. And yeah, I don't know how you would even go about hitting that one.
That just fell off the top of a table. That was a good look at replay there from Spacequake Sports. Todd Trebilco up to bat. He had the single in his first at-bat. All the runs came back in that second inning. 4 straight batters reached.
Little slide step from Tolsey there to make sure the keep the runner close, but executed a nice pitch as well.
Brody is hopping around out there at the edge of the dirt.
He's giving Tolsey a little bit to think of out there. We've already seen 3 different pickoff moves from Tolsey, so.
Gets Trebilco to swing, so he's ahead 0-2. It is a crucial run to protect from the Woodville perspective.
Yeah, 3 is a lot harder to chase than 2.
Especially when you're going against a guy like Ruzic in a 7-inning game.
Mm-hmm.
There's that curveball once again. He's relying on it late in the counts, but pays off for him.
Yeah.
6 strikeouts now.
Oh, that's interesting because I remember talking to Josh after his first start and he said he threw 95% fastballs. I think that was against South, quite a young-ish team. So it's interesting to see how his approach against Port to that tonight.
We were talking before the broadcast, Carly, Jack and I having a chat just about Josh Tolles, and Jack said at the top of the broadcast when Tolsey's on, it's when his curveball is locating and going. So I'm sure a stretch after coming back from playing professional baseball in the States, you probably have to work your way back up to being comfortable to throw that pitch, no?
Yeah, definitely. And I think it's, you know, knowing your opponent and knowing what they can do. I think he will buckle a few more guys here with that pitch than he might over there. So
John Halls. And there goes Brody Areola. Tolsey had the pickoff down, and he slides into second safe. Areola just with enough of a jump.
Steals that base anyway.
That was impressive speed by him.
Had the pickoff, but Brody was gone.
Yeah, that throw was just a little bit offline.
Good base running from Brody though. Get in a scoring position now. A single here scores a run.
You felt like it was a matter of when, not if, with Brody in this sequence.
You could definitely tell he wanted to steal, and I think Tolsey knew he wanted to steal as well.
Yeah, the look on Josh's face, he knew he was going.
Yeah.
Yeah, there was a reason he was trying to pick him off 4 straight times before. Hall swings through it. He had that big double off Josh Tolles in the last inning.
Yeah, that was a really nice hit. You know, Caesar is very good out there in centre field. If he can't track it down, not many would be able to.
What's the light like at this time, Carly?
Oh, it is absolutely atrocious if you're in right field. Yeah, even training sometimes it's really hard. I definitely keep my sunnies on and hat low out there.
Absolutely atrocious. Perfect. Ball up high.
Good hold by Halsey there. Makes the count 2-2 now, I believe.
2-2 count. Important run that Woodville are trying to keep off the board and that Port Adelaide are trying to score. And there's another big curveball, another strikeout. He strikes out the side. Josh Tolles with 7 strikeouts in 3 innings. We've played 3.5. Port Adelaide lead 2-0. Eric Ballner here with Carly Moore and Jack O'Loughlin calling some of the action for you. This is a co-sponsored broadcast. Port Adelaide and Woodville bringing it for you. We looked at Port Adelaide or Woodville sponsors last break. There's look at Port Adelaide's. There's a whole big community there, isn't it? I'm told the 2 big ones: Easy Fit Hydraulics and TA Electrical, platinum sponsors over at Port Adelaide Baseball Club. But Jack, you got a long list, a big Port Adelaide family over there.
We sure do. There's quite a lot of sponsors for Port Adelaide Baseball Club, and we try to go out there and do our job on the field of performing in a way to help those guys out for situations like this where, you know, we're fortunate enough to be playing on TV, which for a lot of guys out here, it could be their first time.
Yeah, that's interesting too, I guess, is do you, when the game, you'd have the camera on? I mean, I guess you've always had games live streamed from when you were 16 years old playing for the Bite, and when you have that camera on you for the first time, is it a bit more nerve-wracking than you think? I know you had it with softball at first.
Yeah, well, Spacequake have been doing softball for a while now, so there were a few games where I did that, and you know, it's a bit embarrassing when you make an error or something, but I think you just have to try not to think about it too much. Just stay in the game, stay focused on what you're doing.
Probably a good experience knowing that if you're going to keep progressing in your baseball career, more people are going to watch, and that includes people on TV from all around the world.
Yeah, I definitely say pitching-wise, though, to have Rue and Tolsey going at it on a televised game is probably a little bit more even than if you were to have a young kid pitching that hasn't been on there before. He'll know, and the nerves of a camera might set him wayward a little bit, but you know, you've got Josh Tolles and Dusan Ruzic of...
That's a heavyweight matchup.
They've played.
I can't imagine either of them are too nervous for tonight. No. I'm sure they've both played in some very big games.
Yeah, Team Australia. Tolsey at AAA. Ruzic made it as high as AA. Both have won championships in the ABL. Josh Tolles was on the mound when the Melbourne Aces won their last Claxton Shield for the series clinching pitch, or the game clinching pitch. It was a weird series, that tournament in Melbourne last year, right on the eve of a lockdown about a year ago this weekend. Ethan Marchioro up to bat.
Good take. Evens the count back up again at 1-1.
Brody Ariola got aboard for Port Adelaide in the top half of the third, and Marchioro's going to do the same for Woodville. He's on board with a single. Takes a look at second, but was never really going. So the 9th hitter in the lineup gets aboard, and now that gets interesting because Wade Moore is up to bat, and he's got a high batting average. Then Dunstall, Nicholson, and Perez follow him. Wade Moore up to bat. What do you know? Do you know this guy?
No, I don't think I've met him before.
No, never met him.
No, older brother, yeah, big baseball inspiration. You know, we both play the same position, both catchers, and yeah, both really work on, I guess, the gritty side of baseball. We both give as much effort as you can. Yeah, I really look up to him as a, yeah, like I said, baseball inspiration.
Well, he's having a big season.
He is, yeah, really proud of him this season.
Hitting .449, right now second in the competition in average, and he's been up and down flirting with the lead in the league comp for a couple weeks now.
Yeah. No, he has really good power. You know, he's put on a bit of weight in the last few years, and now he's really able to drive that ball.
Yeah, it's Jeremy Creswell, then Owen Hughes, then Wade Moore. Troy Nicholson is in 5th. Wilson Lee sandwiched in between there, another former Woodville player.
Yeah, just the ultimate two-way guy there.
Yeah, Willie Lee putting up another big year over at Henley and Grange. Moore behind 0-2.
Be interested to see what Rue goes to right here.
What would you go with?
I'd probably throw another slider, but knowing Rue might go fastball in. Yeah.
Just missed, though.
It's one of those things you have to be able to understand whether or not a guy missed your pitch because he wasn't ready for it, or if he missed it because he just couldn't hit it.
Moore chops away. Two interesting perspectives on the broadcast. You got the pitcher, Jack O'Loughlin. You got the catcher, Carly Moore.
Both will tell you they're in charge.
Both will tell you.
Oh, of course.
Wade Moore, a catcher himself. Both teams need a win in this game to put themselves as the hunter, trying to chase down a top 6 spot. We'll try to get some score updates in the break. And just like Tolles was concerned with Areola, Ruzek seems to be a little concerned with Ethan Marchioro over at first base.
Looks like he's worried that he might try and steal second base, or even might just try and get a good lead that if the ball's put in play, he might be able to go first to third.
Yeah, Ethan is quite a fast runner, and he's out there in right field. He's got great range, so I understand Rue's apprehension there.
It's certainly a tightly contested game, even compared to some of the other twilights that we've been lucky enough to go to. I think both teams don't really want to lose to the other team, given who they are.
Yeah, and with the movement of players this year, I'm sure there are a lot of tense people tonight.
There goes Ethan Marchioro. He's going to slide into second. The throw was off to begin with.
Yeah, that's those wheels that we see out there in right field.
So Wade Moore, who's just been battling to stay alive in this at-bat, now has a runner in scoring position.
Yeah, like I said, scrappy player he is.
Pitch looked like it was just a bit inside.
It's 2 balls, 2 strikes. He was behind 0-2 early, fouled off a couple, took a couple balls, has waited out a couple pickoff attempts over at first. Finally, a runner in scoring position. Double play ball has been eliminated. Well, theoretically still possible, but unlikely.
Definitely not the most predictable double play.
No. A whole lot would have to go right. Moore to left field. Marchioro getting the wave around. Wade Moore has driven in a run, and it's a 2-1 game off the back of a Moore double.
That's all you can ask for from a player in that position, you know, a nice hard shot straight over shortstop.
Working the count back from 1-2 to 2-2 and finding a pitch that he can just do something with, put it in play and hit it hard.
A gritty at-bat.
Gritty at-bat.
Todd Dunstall comes up. He's still got a runner in scoring position, so Woodville pushing back. I think back to that second inning, they scored 2 runs. Port Adelaide had the bases loaded. They got out of the jam. Had a runner in scoring position last inning. Josh Tolles held with 3 strikeouts. Now it's the bones of the lineup, and Dunstall lays down a bunt. It's going to advance the runner to third. So Woodville playing small ball right now to try to set up with just 1 out. 2 cracks at it, I suppose, with Troy Nicholson and Cesar Perez.
Yeah, definitely. You put that runner onto third base, it's completely different.
Makes it a lot easier.
Looks like they just intentionally walked.
Troy Nicholson.
Probably to put the double play in order now.
Well, and it's a tough call if you're Port Adelaide, I suppose, because Troy Nicholson's 5th in the league in batting average. So if he gets a base hit, obviously things keep going around. Double play ball now in effect. However, Cesar Perez can launch the baseball.
Definitely, for sure, but I feel as though at least this now gives you a chance of keeping that runner on third from scoring.
3rd in the league in home runs with 6 RBI, or 6 home runs, sorry. Cesar Perez, a former affiliated player himself.
Who did he used to play for?
He was with the Tampa Bay Rays.
Really?
Yes, as a pitcher.
Interesting.
From 2010 to 2012, I want to say. It was around the same time that AJ was affiliated as well.
Yeah, AJ was with the Tigers for a little while, I believe. I reckon he had 5 or 6 years.
So I think Perez signed as a 17-year-old and played a few years in the Rays organization.
Yep.
And has been over here for a little bit now, Cesar.
Is this his third season here now, or his second season?
I think it's his second season. I think he came halfway through last season, and then, yeah, this is his first full season here, I believe.
Runner is going, and that slips away, and it's costly. Senators have tied it up. Ball just slipped away, and now the double play is out of question. A run has scored, and there's a runner in scoring position, all with 1 out. So that has kind of backfired for Port Adelaide, but Woodville have tied it up.
That's an aggressive steal there, especially Troy. Speed not being his biggest asset, but no, I think it worked out well for him. Put the pressure on, see what happens.
Big cut from Cesar. Yeah, Cesar Perez is his third season in the South Australian baseball competition, but his first full one with Woodville, transferred over in the middle of last year. Was over with Golden Grove. Plays winter ball with Los Bravos. Freddie's team.
They won the A-grade championship last year, didn't they?
They've won back-to-back. Yeah.
Because they also have Jeremy Creswell and some of those guys.
Just about the most stacked winter team you can get,
Yeah, pretty much.
They have some fun, that team, too.
I bet. They're a good team, so winning probably isn't a huge problem for them.
Inside. So again, Woodville batters fall behind early, but work their way back in favorable counts. If you're Rue, are you a bit cagey with this pitch here, knowing that is the last guy in the lineup and the run has already scored? Or the last guy of that run of dangerous hitters? Not that Wienert and Rackerbrand can't do damage, but... And it's a walk. Well, this will be an interesting at-bat. Troy Wienert comes up to face Dusan Ruzic. Runner on second, the go-ahead run at second, and a runner at first. Think both of these guys want to win this battle?
I think you would be correct there.
Yeah, I think we've seen some pretty good composure from the Woodville batters this inning. You know, Ruzic is a very intimidating pitcher to face, and I think they've held their ground well. They haven't been chasing, and they've just been hitting strikes.
Well, we were hoping for a close game, and we've got one so far. Both teams seem pretty dialed in. We've reached the exact midway point of the twilight game. It's 7 innings or 2 hours. And Troy Wienert, the former Port Adelaide player, going against Ruzic with the go-ahead run at second base. Big at-bat for both of these guys. And Wienert's behind early.
Troy was actually a junior at Woodville, so it's a bit of a return home for him this year.
Woodville sitting at 8-10, 4 points back of a final spot. Port Adelaide sitting 5 points back, and they play the team they're chasing, Southern Districts, on Saturday. And still lots of time, 12 games to go. A lot can happen.
A lot can happen. I know right now, if I was pitching, you're definitely hoping for just a nice ground ball to the infield and
get out of it.
Get out of it.
And it's back to even Steven for the last hour.
Yeah. Starting fresh.
Starting fresh. Oh, 2 count.
Oh, got him.
Bit of a smile on Rusic's face there.
Well, Wienert hit by pitch, so it's bases loaded and 1 out, and Luke Rackebrand, former teammate of Dusan Ruzic over at Port Adelaide, moved over to Woodville.
I wonder if that's what you'd prefer. Perhaps, you know, he knows what he can and can't hit a little bit better.
I would definitely say that Rue would, out of all the pitchers right now pitching in the SABL, Rue would definitely have to have the most knowledge of how to pitch to this Woodville team, I would definitely say. He's either played against half of them for the last 10 years or he's played with half of them for the last 10 years, so...
It's been a bit of a colorful inning, hasn't it? Ethan Marchioro led off with a single, stole second. Wade Moore had that gritty at-bat. It was a double that scored him. And then he got over to third. Todd Dunstall off the Dunstall bunt. Intentional base on balls to Troy Nicholson, but that pass ball ends up being costly to tie the game. And now Perez walks. He's over at second standing there now, and Troy Wienert gets hit by a pitch. All of a sudden, a bunch of free bases stacking up.
Yeah, and in a really tough part of the lineup as well.
What can Luke Rackebrant do against his former team? He's got 10 RBI on the season. He's hitting 269, so respectable numbers from him.
You definitely know Luke is right now trying to put a ball in the air and get something to the outfield. And
yeah, it looks like their outfield's pretty deep, so I imagine they're just trying to keep it in front and get the ball in as quickly as possible.
Up the middle, and it has eyes. Rackebrant scores one. He's going to score two. Runner will slide into third. It slips away, and it's a 2 RBI single for the former Port Adelaide Magpie versus former team in Woodville hit the front.
This inning has been some very good team baseball. I think, you know, no one's trying to carry the team on their back. Everyone's just doing their job, whether it's hitting a single, laying down a bunt, or just bringing in a run.
And still just one out, and now runners on the corner. Runners on the corners even, both of them. So now the Chapman part of the lineup. This is Daniel. The last time these two teams played, it was a 9-1 game. We're grounded over towards first. That goes foul. It was a 9-1 game, but 7 of those runs for Woodville came in. It was the 4th or 5th inning in a game that was close. Other than that, this game sort of feels like that right now with Woodville putting up a big inning here in the bottom of the 3rd.
Oh, that's definitely what I'm hoping for.
Carly Moore from Woodville, Jack O'Loughlin from Port Adelaide. Shallow fly ball. Brody Ariola moves back and makes the play. Runners, of course, hold. So this will be the 9th batter in the lineup. Important for Port Adelaide to keep this just at 2 runs to keep yourself with a shot at winning this baseball game.
It definitely need to try and keep the run from third from scoring right now. Going into the top of the 4th inning down 2 would be much better than going into the top of the 4th down 3.
Yeah, like we were saying before, 3 is a lot harder to chase than 2.
Joel Chapman grounded out to third his last time up. Hitting .310 entering this game.
Yeah, we're just speaking of two-way guys in Wilson Lee. I think it's really good to have someone that can start on the mound and can also play a position and has a really strong bat when we need it.
It's that high fastball, and looks like it just jammed him a little bit up and in and puts him ahead 0-2. Oh, I believe it's put him ahead 0-2 now.
There we go.
Chapman in the air, should be playable and left for Schrapel, and it is. 9 runners, or 9 batters come to the plate for Woodville in the 3rd inning, and they score 4 of them. It's a 4-2 lead. Woodville, Port Adelaide putting on a stream, putting on a show. Eric, Carly, and Jack back after this. colorful inning for Woodville in the third. They score 4 runs. They now lead the game 4-2. We're at about the halfway point of the game, just after 7 o'clock. Eric Ballnar joined by Port Adelaide's Jack O'Loughlin and Woodville's Carly Moore. Carly, I'm going to ask you the question because we're at Woodville here. Actually, I'll ask you this too, Jack, because both teams are sponsoring this broadcast. What is the go-to item on the canteen list here at Woodville?
Woodville, in my personal opinion, have the best hot dogs in the league. I think it's the process. You know, we got the big flat top. They grill it real nice. They melt the cheese. It's just phenomenal.
What about Port Adelaide, Jack?
Oh, I don't know anymore. Port Adelaide changed their canteen a little bit, so the special normally moves around a little bit.
Up to bat right now is Mike Schraple. We're going to play Guess the Score right now with you two from the scores that we know. Kensington and East Torrens, what do you think that score is? It is in the 4th inning.
1-0.
4?
Kensington.
I'm going to say Kensington up 5-1.
It is 5-1, yes.
Is it really? No way.
Okay, West Torrens and Sturt. Over at Sturt, they're in the 3rd inning right now. West Torrens 15-2, Sturt 13-5.
Did Rickson go home? That is my question.
No, Rickson's been here the whole time.
Okay. I'm going to go like 4-0.
Really?
For
I reckon
who?
it's a tight one.
For Sturt.
I'm going to say 1-1.
Would you believe me if I said it's 10-0 Sturt?
No, I wouldn't.
That was my question of is Rickson playing, because that's a big asset to their lineup.
Who's pitching for West Torrens?
That's what I'm wondering.
I'll find out for you.
Right.
And I don't know the scores of the other games, so if you know them, put the Glen Elgar up on Northern Districts in the 3rd, 6-0. Schraple high up in the air all the way
It's gonna
down.
be tough.
We saw one earlier be a bit tricky. Nicholson makes the play, and it's 1 down. But yeah, if anyone else knows the scores of the other 2 games, please let us know. I'm sure both these teams in this game want to know how Adelaide, probably Adelaide Angels fans today, play in Southern Districts. That's the team they're chasing. So none of the Giants guys available for West Torrens tonight. And it's now 11 runs that Sturt have put up in 2 1/3 in that game. Rickson Wingrove is 3 for 3. He's got a home run, and Harry Nucky is 1 for 2 with 4 RBIs. Harry Nucky, part of that team, those teams that, just like Brody Areola, Curtis Meade, yourself, Jack O'Loughlin, that broke those long droughts of under 16 and under 18s. That was a special group of players from that age group.
We had a very good 16s and 18 state team that went away those 2 years, and I'd definitely say that there was not very much competition when we went away compared to past years. I think one of the years we went away, we actually had, I think, 9 players that were playing in the ABL or had played in the ABL already.
The 18s, yeah, because the outfield was what? Nucky was there, Areola was there. Where was Callum Park playing?
I don't think Callum Park was starting on the field for us. But
tough.
I think
that's tough. Yeah. That's a good team.
But I think our other outfielder might have been.
Curtis Meade was he was playing shortstop.
He was playing shortstop with Sean Maple.
Oh my goodness.
And Jared Miller.
Jared Miller. What's Jared Miller up to these days? Footy?
I'm actually not too sure. I know he comes out and watches some of the. He is? Yeah, I just heard he's playing footy. He's just playing footy.
He could hit the ball.
He could.
Jared Miller. That's right. I haven't heard that name in a while. That was a good group of
it was.
Kids. Who was your catcher?
I reckon it was Mason Clavel.
Mason Clavel it was. Hard hit ball. This from Kane Woolman going towards center field. Perez tracking over, and he makes the play. Runner has to retreat to first. Yeah, Carly, that didn't look easy.
No, that's that range from Caesar out in center. That's why we've got him out there. He's very quick to the ball and knows how to get there. That was very impressive.
Wow.
Because that was deep in the gap. I wasn't quite sure he would, but I should have trusted in Caesar.
that ball gets down there, and with Nick Vasic on first base, you probably score a run there, and now it's a one-run ball game. But
yeah, I didn't even think he would court it then, because he was on his way to second.
He was about a step from second base by the time that was brought in, and he had to run all the way back to first, almost the full distance.
Yeah.
Brody Ariola back to the top of the lineup.
Anthony Webster.
Oh, Anthony Webster, sorry. I'm not even close. Brody Ariola's 2 away.
No worries.
Anthony Webster's worked his way up the ranks, though, hasn't he?
I believe Anthony Webster's actually always been an A-grade player for us. He just went away for a few years. Not too sure, and then came back and just started playing A-grade again.
Got him for the call, got him, yeah.
Got him to chase that low fastball, it looks.
Phil Burgess says that Jared Miller's playing footy at Brighton.
Yeah.
There's your answer. We got people watching from Singapore, from South Africa. Crazy. Hard hit ball over to right field. This is an awkward one in that right field gap.
Looks like it got down, and
Vasic is winding all the way to third, and it's a double for Anthony Webster.
There's that speed from Nick Vasic there. He read it well and almost could have been in at third base standing up there if he wanted to.
Well, Woodville put up 4 the last time they were up to bat to leapfrog Port Adelaide and go up 4-2. And now with the 2, 3, 4 batters coming up in the lineup, Flynn McKee, Brody Ariola, and Patrick Inglis, a chance for Port Adelaide to do some damage.
Back to earlier when I may have said Flynn McKee was 16 or 17. Heard from his mum it was actually he is 15.
He's 15. Wow. He's batting 2?
He is batting 2 and he's 15. So
he's a very big 15-year-old.
He would have to be one of the youngest kids currently playing A-grade, I would say, around the league.
It would have to be. Good experience for him, and it's a big moment with runners on second and third. With a couple runners in scoring position and a day like this is probably where Port Adelaide's missing a guy like Jack Stead.
Definitely. Definitely. You're missing your team captain. It definitely hurts you a little bit.
A very young Port Adelaide team that are holding their own in the middle of the table and a chance at finals. But they need to get their wriggle on, including right now. Flynn McKee behind 1-2. He struck out twice so far. Versus Josh Tolles. 2 outs in the inning. Lays off of it.
It's definitely a tough pitch to lay off there in that situation. You know, you're probably trying to protect the zone 1-2, and might have got a little lucky there.
The very dangerous Brody Ariola coming up to bat next. I'm sure Woodville would love not to face him with runners on base. And he swings through it, a big strikeout from Josh Tolles.
It's a very big out there in general, you know. Flynn gets on, Brody Ariola up to the plate with loaded bases. There is 2 out, but at the same time, you know, he's got runners on base and he could make something happen.
That's 8 strikeouts now for Tolsey.
Yeah, he's doing really well. I think in that situation, you know, young kid at the bat, you just got to try and put it past him, you know. Welcome to A-grade, mate. Here's
a look at the Woodville sponsors that are helping put on the live stream today. Both Woodville and Port Adelaide coming to the party to make this happen. Got a few original Pancake Kitchen sponsor, you guys?
Yeah, Pancake Kitchen, one of our sponsors. Great pancakes, and also their fried potatoes are delicious.
So you could do with the Woodville sponsors like a whole day. You could go for breakfast at the Pancake Kitchen. You could head for a long leisurely lunch that the Mercurio's put on for everybody over at the Glen Oak Barbecue in. You could go to Kidman Park Pizza House for some late night feeds. It's a good day.
Yeah, I'd be finishing that one off at the Lakes Hotel in their front bar, maybe with some espresso martinis, I think.
Oh, that's a good one. You start your night with an espresso martini. The Lakes Hotel's a good spot right on the water there.
Yeah, we usually have a lot of our club functions down there. They're really great. Yeah, good function rooms and, yeah, great front bar.
And when you have one too many espresso martinis and you go back home and something wrecks and maybe the electrical units have all gone out because you've just been too busy spilling your drinks everywhere, you can call the Moors and they can help sort you out.
Yeah, well, I mean, if
they're not joining you.
Not busy.
Yeah,
Laurie's not busy.
Now, big thanks to all of the Woodville sponsors and, of course, the Port Adelaide sponsors. We'll flick them up the next half inning as well. But it's a 4-2 game right now. We start the fourth inning the same place we started the third with Ethan Marchioro up to bat, Wade Moore due up, and this was the part Marchioro, Moore, Nicholson, and Perez all scored the last inning, and now Woodville are sort of in the driver's seat here with only 45 minutes to go, looking to tack on. Ruzick throwing tonight. Who do Port have in the bullpen tonight, or is it they're going to try to throw Rue as long as they can?
I do believe that Rue will probably be riding to
ride or die.
Pretty high pitch count tonight. I did see Patrick Inglis rolling it over in the bullpen before. He might be coming into pitch potentially.
First pitch swing, Areola scoops, and the throw is wayward. So it's a free base for Woodville on the air.
Errors happen from time to time, and you just have to accept them and move on.
Yeah.
Even from a pitching standpoint, you know, if your field makes an error for you, you just have to accept it. And
I think you probably caught him by surprise a little bit there. You know, first pitch, just coming up and swinging, making stuff happen.
Marchioro already, he stole the last time he was up, and Ruzick was pretty attentive to him. And they were showing either steal or hit and run.
Yeah.
Wade Moore had the double, and he scored the run his last time up, adding to his tremendous season Wade Moore is having. With those kind of numbers that Wade Moore is having with the bat, he's going to be putting himself in conversation with a lot of the other catchers for that team of the year. He'll be in the chat.
Yeah, I think Wade's offense this year has definitely improved. You know, he's been working very hard at it.
Runner going, and Moore swings off towards left field. This is back, and it's foul. Overplaying with the kids in the park. It was hugging the line, and this ball was, I think, just feet away from. Yeah, it's. Oh.
We'll see if he can do it again.
It was hit hard.
it was, but
yeah,
just a long strike.
Yeah, just turned on that inside pitch, but, you know, we'll see what he can do.
What do you reckon led to Wade's big season?
I think he has put a lot of work in over the past couple years of working on strength.
Hits one up the middle. Will it fall? It goes in and out of the glove of Patrick Inglis. He throws the ball in the infield. A couple breaks following Woodville's way, and with no outs, they have 2 runners on.
It's tough. It's just, you know.
Oh, those ones hit straight at you. They're the hardest ones to field. You know, all you see is that dot coming right towards you.
It's a tough situation now for Rue. He's got runners on first and second, and theoretically he
Should
could
be
have 2 out.
Yeah.
But that's baseball, you know. Sometimes everything goes for you, and other times you might not be so lucky.
How do you keep your composure in that moment as a pitcher, Jack?
Yeah, you just have to. You have to put a game face on and just.
Runner was going. Called foul.
Looked like that's some pretty smart base running from Ethan out there. It looked like he squared around for bunt early. Third base crashed, and Ethan seen the potential that it was about to be a leg race between him and Brody, and He took it.
Yeah,
Those are
open
two
base.
fast dudes. Chopped up the middle. It's called foul. I think it was off the plate. Ruzic was looking for that right away.
I've never really understood that one. To me, the plate didn't play.
I think it might have come off of his foot.
That's the thing. Like, in my opinion, the plates. It does
It
look
must
like
have been his foot, yeah.
Yeah.
Or bounced up and hit him in the leg, and here's a good.
Oof.
Oh, yep.
Off the shin.
Off the shin. Gonna be feeling that one tomorrow.
Yeah, because Aussie being in front, seeing that's a lot easier than seeing it from behind.
That was a very good idea by Todd, though, there.
Yeah, just to swing away when that third baseman's crashing in. If I was Flynn, I would have been a little bit scared there.
I would have been very scared.
Hit towards the other side. Awkward play at first. Bobble, they're going to try to get the lead runner at second. And they do.
That could have been a very good step on first base and throw to second, you know.
I reckon that's probably what they were hoping to do, but I think
didn't seem that far off.
Couldn't quite tell if he was still in the dirt, though. He might have actually been, he might have been behind the infield cutout there and actually on the grass.
Well, it's an awkward one to read as a base runner, you know. It's lining straight at you. You freeze on a line drive. You want to get back to that bag so you don't get doubled up. Yeah, just a bit of an awkward play for both.
Yeah, if he had fielded it cleanly, maybe he could have made the charge to first, but
that still does leave the double play in order here.
Troy Nicholson bats it away. And with runners on first and second off of two, what probably should have been outs, Port Adelaide would probably feel like they've done well here if they can get out of this jam.
Definitely, I'd say with Rue here, he's probably trying to make sure that he keeps the ball on the ground and gives the infield another chance to roll a double play.
This one inside. Certainly an air of intensity about this twilight clash tonight. Both teams trying to become the hunters.
Everyone's trying to get in the top six. It's after Christmas now.
And between Woodville and Woodville and Golden Grove, rather, there's only 2 points separating four teams. And that pack is trying to hunt down Southern Districts, and then Kensington just barely ahead of them. Fouled away. Another plucky at-bat from Woodville here.
They're definitely getting themselves into good hitting counts and then swinging away and trying to do some damage.
All 4 runs came in the bottom of the third. A few walks, hit by pitch, and a couple big hits, including one from Wade Moore and another from Luke Rackebrant that drove in 2 runs when it was a 2-2 game. Rackebrant versus former team put them in front.
Looked like that could have been a potential hit and run right there.
Are Woodville normally this aggressive on the base paths?
Oh, I think it's something that they've been trying to work on. Chris definitely, I think, pushes that. And, you know, if you are aggressive, I think it does create errors and it does, you know, put the opposition... It does put the opposition in a tough spot, you know, which we've seen tonight. We put the pressure on, put the ball in play, and errors do happen.
Chris Sims has moved over, and he's assistant coaching with head coach Richard Olson. Chris Sims was the manager for a good number of years over at Port Adelaide Baseball Club.
I think he was our manager for four years, maybe. I think it was.
Runner going, fouled away.
It's right here. Definitely run up the pitch count of Rue right now.
Yeah, I mean, if they can knock him off the mound, I think that's a big plus for them and, you know, maybe even get some more runs up. Was it Inglis you said's in the chair tonight, Jack?
I think so. He was rolling it over before in the bullpen, so
And a swing and a miss. Runner is going, and now they're going to try to get home. Throw to the plate. It's a bang-bang play called out. A huge moment in the ball game as Ethan Marchioro made the leap for home.
It's pretty
as they tried to double steal.
Unconventional double play, but you know, if it works, it works. Really good throw by Nick Vasic there.
Yeah, it seemed like the offline throw actually worked out for Port Adelaide in the end because it got Vasic in a really good position to throw home.
They tried to get that steal with the runner going from first to second. It was probably the percentage play from Woodville's perspective. This throw had to be perfect.
And it was.
It was, yeah.
It couldn't have been any better.
Catch and tag.
We'll take a 30-second break, and we'll be back after this. Well, there's a few moments that you circle in every baseball game as kind of game-defining moments. Right now, it could be that Luke Baracabrandt single that scored 2 runs back in the 3rd inning for Woodville. But this moment right here just kept a pivotal 3-run lead off the board from Woodville's perspective. And what a throw from Vasic.
Incredible throw from Vasic there. And now, hopefully the boys in Port Adelaide can continue on from that and score some runs.
And Carly will be hoping the opposite. Brody Ariola up to bat. He's already got a hit off of Josh Tolles today. Tolles with 8 strikeouts. And Ariola has his second base hit. He doesn't take long to rip one to left field. Brody Ariola, he's also having a tremendous season.
And there, as we talked about before, it's a lot better facing Brody with no one on than what could have been a loaded bases from last inning.
Well, and I can imagine because of Brody's experience in ABL, you know, facing a guy like Tolsey isn't as intimidating as, say, some of the younger guys.
Oh, for sure. He's probably going up there. He knows what he knows Tolsey's a bit of a 2-pitch mix pitcher.
He stole a base the last time he was aboard. He's had a big year, Brody Ariola. He's hitting 400 entering the game. 4 home runs, 17 RBI. Those kind of numbers get it done. Ariola tied for 7th in the RBI lead, and he's in the leaderboard as one of the 8 or 9 players that is hitting 400 or above. Currently tied with Ty Forney, Brandon Manzella, and Jackson Brebner-Russ. Player on Port Adelaide that probably he'd be picking up a few votes, Brody Ariola.
I would definitely have to agree with that. You know, you get 2 hits in the game, and he could definitely take some votes away from some other players.
Even some of the games that Port were on the wrong side of, he goes 2 for 4, and he still gets that vote or 2. That one outside.
It's like Tolsey struggled a little bit there with the slide step, might have been worrying a little bit too much about Brody in that situation.
Yeah, it's a very fine line between paying attention to them but not letting them get in your head.
You said he's got 3 pickup moves that he showed us in the last or couple innings ago. So what pickoff moves are there, especially from a left-handed pitcher? You might know about those.
So a lot of lefties will have their best move. They'll have, and 2 probably show me moves that are a little, you know, they're clear that you're picking off, but it's like, hey, I still know you're there. And then they'll have a quick step off the back move, which I think we've seen Tolsey's good move, a show me move, and even his quick move trying to worry about Brody. But Tolsey's also exceptional at holding runners with his variation of slow, quick leg kicks, slide steps. He is exceptionally good at holding the running game, and even the base that Brody did steal, he almost had him on the pickoff.
Tolles would have a lot of experience with that. He was a reliever for a long time in the ABL. He would come in these situations with runners on first and second or first and third and maybe an out or two, just needing a strikeout or a double play ball.
Oh, for sure. He also would have had a lot of experience with runners that are actually, like Brody's a good base runner, but playing in AA and AAA with the Phillies, he would have come across some guys that...
Hard hit ball over to right field. Inglis to the wall, to the track, and it rattles up against the cage. Arriola getting the wave around. Arriola, he's going to make a play at home, and it's an RBI double from Patrick Inglis, and the lead is slashed in half.
Just like that, a single and a good double, and someone like Brody who's fast and can run the bases.
Scores all the way from first.
Scores all the way from first.
Well, you go back to when it was runners, one out and runners on first and third for Woodville. Ruzic gets a strikeout. And then Vasic throws the runner down from second, who is gunning from home. Now back-to-back hits, and Port Adelaide have completely swung the momentum of this game. We're in the top of the fifth. It's 7:30. Depending on how long this inning goes, we don't know how many more innings we'll get.
Nice high fastball there from Tulsey, and get Todd Trabilko to swing at it, and just like that, put himself in a good position for a this at-bat.
It's been a good game tonight, hasn't it? Both teams coming up swinging. It's tight.
Yeah, it really has been pretty intense. I think if we can just limit the damage here and just get out of this, then hopefully we should be able to hold on.
Can't quite lay off that high fastball right now. He's giving it to him and he wants to hit it, but he just can't quite keep up with it.
Throw it again, I say.
Throw it till it don't work no more.
Something like that.
Yeah, he'll mix it up, though.
Oh, you could do that.
He struck out a few on that pitch tonight. I think that inning where he had 3 strikeouts, all 3 came from that pitch.
He's got 9 on the day.
Wow, that's very impressive.
A lot of them swinging.
And I reckon a lot of them might have been chasing that curveball as well.
Yeah.
First pitch swing from John Halls. Out towards that sun angle out in right field. Runner is going to try to tag up. They'll get there easily. So Patrick Inglis moves over to third. John Halls retired. It's 2 outs. Well, Mike Schrapel comes up to bat. Big moment for him to try to tie this game.
Two out. Runner on third.
1 run in it.
Got to knuckle down on the box here and just need a single here to tie the game.
Yeah, towards the bottom of the lineup, I imagine Tolles is in attack mode right now.
I would say Tulsey's definitely going to be challenging these guys and trying to make sure that he gets ahead and doesn't want to give up any easy runs to the bottom half of the lineup, because I bet you next inning he'd much rather start off facing 8-9 or yeah, I think it would be 8-9 if he can get out of it here.
Mm-hmm.
He's getting that inside, Josh Tolles, today.
He really is. That pitch is a very borderline call, but you know, he's getting it called. Catch is helping him out.
Tries to go with the high fastball again. Schrapel, hard hit ball.
Fair.
It stays fair. No, it's called foul. There was a lot of confusion. And Carly Moore with an oh my look on her face. Let's see this replay.
Oh, looks like the camera couldn't quite keep up with it.
Do you see it hit the ground anywhere?
Oh.
It hit. Well, it depends where it.
Well, I don't know. Third baseman's calling foul. Third base coach calling fair. So it must have been right on that line.
It almost looks like it was too quick for even the umpire to keep up with it.
Yeah, it seemed like it.
Well, Patrick Inglis wasn't exactly bolting off of it.
I think he was more ducking for cover over there.
Yeah, probably.
Good layoff on that pitch there.
Well, if they can get this to Nick Vasic as well, he's already got that RBI single back in the second inning.
He's a little bit more of a veteran guy, would have been around, faced Halsey over the years.
Schrapel, ball over to third. He's got to make the play. It's low, but a good pick over at first base from Luke Rackebrant. That would have kept the run off the board. So it stays just a one-run game, but some life back in Port Adelaide, getting a run back.
Definitely, that's for sure.
7:36 local time. This game can't go past the 8th. Here's a look at the sponsors for Port Adelaide once again. Guardian Pharmacy, 7-4 we didn't mention last time. Well, you can read off the list. There you go. Port Adelaide, a big old family and community down there at Port Adelaide.
Definitely, that's for sure. They're a very loving and welcoming group to everybody, and especially if you play for the club, they'll treat you like a big family.
What's what's this talk about the pressed hot dog over at the Port Adelaide canteen?
Yes, the pressed hot dog. I think Carly tries to say that Woodville's one's better, but in all honesty, I don't think they've got what it takes to beat Port Adelaide's.
A pressed hot dog, that sounds like a hybrid between a hot dog and a toasted sandwich. Is that what we're working with?
It is a little bit, you know. You cut the dog part in half, the sausage in half,
right.
Open it up, and then using a sandwich press, they press it down.
That's just a whole new thing.
I gotta try that.
You do.
I had Henley's hot dog last week and it was pretty good. Henley does a good hot dog.
I've heard Henley and Granger's canteen is
it's pretty good.
Doing very well right now.
Yeah, they've got something. They've got our little recipe right go. Whatever they're doing right now, that works over there. We were there last week, and that was a pretty good vibe. It was also like at the eve of the public holiday, so I think a lot of people were down there.
Yep.
They were ready, coming guns a-blazing. Each of the clubs seem to have like a club meal that they usually do on Thursday nights.
Yeah, I think most clubs do dinner after trainings.
Yeah, we have Thursday night meals. Usually the favourite is just the chicken schnitzel. I don't think you can really beat that.
That's so Australian.
Yeah, apparently you can't really get them in the States. Is that right?
You can, but
But they're not the same.
They're
You gotta
not
go
the same.
searching for them.
Well, in America, their chicken schnitzels are always put into like a pasta dish.
Yeah. And that is true. And if you want like a proper schnitzel, you get like the proper schnitzel. You have to go to like an Eastern European place, like a German place,
Right.
or a Czech place or something like that. And they make a really, really good schnitzel. But again, it's a bit different than like your pub schnitzel you might have here. First pitch, second pitch, hit from Cesar Perez, and Woodville are back on the bases.
Yeah, hoping to swing the momentum back in our favour.
I definitely say Woodville won at least one more run this inning at the very least, so that
the sixth inning's probably going to be the last.
Yeah,
it's 7:40. You can't see it if we're already in the bottom of the fifth. This going to 7.
No, it's unless there's a quick inning here,
which is possible with these pitchers on the mound. So it'll almost be the formula for Woodville is tack on a run here, extend the time, gets 3 outs, and then just hopefully wait it out when you're up to bat with the sun.
Yep.
And get that game completed before 8 o'clock.
For sure, that would... Can you start a new inning with like a minute to go?
You can.
You can?
Big swing and a miss. Runner trying to steal second. So Cesar Perez back in scoring position. Yeah, you can. There was Southern Districts. Oh, we'll get a look at the replay first. Throw from John Halls. Not a bad one.
It's a good throw.
Yeah.
Very close play.
You just beat the throw.
Yeah, a few weeks ago, it was maybe the first twilight back after Christmas. Is
that's
Winter
ours.
flares this. Just foul, look out. It's it was coming towards us. I was ready to catch that too. They finished the 7th inning. They scored a tying run, Southern Districts in Port Adelaide, at 7:59, and they went to extra innings.
That's a
and Henley won.
that's really leaving it to the last minute to.
Well, another strikeout from Rue. Just his 4th of the day. Probably a low strikeout count that we're used to seeing from Rue.
Yeah, but this is definitely a much better hitting team in terms of they definitely know him, so they know what to expect.
They're also hitting 290 as a team entering this game.
You got good hitting numbers. That normally means you can put the ball in play for the most part, so striking out probably isn't a strong suit for them.
Yeah, and I think this A-grade side has a lot of experience, so they're not going to be as rattled as some of the younger teams that Rue faces.
Yeah, you're right. It is an experienced team. Wade Moore, Todd Dunstall, Troy Nicholson, Cesar Perez, Wiener, Rackabrant, Chapman, and Mark Yarrow. Ethan would be the youngest by
by far. Yeah.
And even then, I reckon he has a few years of experience in A-grade with West Torrens before he came here.
Yeah, he's been with us for a few years, but did come from West Torrens. Both him and his brother Braden came over a few years ago. They have family ties here with the Nicholsons, so great to have them on board as well.
And the 2 starting pitches aren't exactly at the start of their career, let's say.
They've definitely been pitching for a while, and they've got a lot of experience under their belt, that's for sure.
Runner in scoring position. Out towards right field, making a move on it. Webster, and then getting called off by Inglis, who was moving over, makes the play. Runner tagging to third. He'll get in there easy. So Perez is on third. Rackabrant flies out. Daniel Chapman now up to bat. Well, Carly, this will be the last out that we'll have you in the broadcast here. Tell us what's going on. What's going on in Woodville? The women get a big win on the weekend.
Yeah.
You needed to win that one, too.
Yeah, we did. We've had a bit of a rocky start to the season with, we had Dana out for a few weeks. Obviously, I injured my thumb, so I wasn't able to play for, 8 weeks. So very nice to have a win back, and I think it's just helped the girls with a bit of confidence because, sometimes that's the hardest thing in baseball, just believing in yourself.
Between injuries, weddings, and COVID, how often have you had a full strength lineup?
Maybe the first 3 games and the last game that we just played, so not much of it.
Wow, so you guys have really been struggling on that first half of the season.
Yeah, we actually unfortunately had to forfeit a game a couple of weeks ago because we had 5 out isolating. So, yeah, it really hit us hard this year, but we're just hoping we can finish off the last half of the season.
And Donna and Megan got married.
Yes, the newlyweds, they're very, very happy, and now we have to put Borsveen on the lineup sheet, so it's a little bit longer, but no, it's great. And they actually met through baseball as well. They met through Woodville, so.
That's awesome.
Yeah, a bit sweet.
So they're coming healthy at least, or you're getting healthy in together. But that was a big win over East Torrens, which helps lock down that last spot with a couple games to go. As a big strikeout ends that. So I'm sure we'll be watching especially once the playoffs roll around here.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, well, top 4 make finals.
And you're pretty much locked in that third 4 game.
Yeah, I think so.
I don't think you can finish second anymore.
No, yeah. So, we will have an opportunity at finals, which I'm very excited for.
Well, Carly, thanks for joining us, giving us the Woodville perspective. Tim Fawcett coming in after. It is a 4-3 game. We'll be back with what probably is the final inning after this.
Great. Thanks for having me.
Thanks for coming to join.
Welcome back to the ballpark. A beautiful evening for baseball. A little chilly, actually, tonight it ended up being. But Tim Fawcett back in the broadcast booth. What's the vibe around the club tonight?
Yeah, bit of missed opportunity. Last inning, I think, with none out, first and second, would have been nice to capitalise a bit there. But, yeah, in for a tight struggle, I think. So, yeah, hopefully Troy Nicholson on the mound now. So, in relief, hopefully can get us over the line.
Josh Tolles finishes with 9 strikeouts on the day. And Troy Nicholson in. I'm sure Port Adelaide batters will be happy not to have to face that curveball again, but Troy Nicholson has been a good two-way player all season long.
Definitely, that's one way to come in from the field there and get ahead straight away.
He's pitched 22 innings this year. And a first or second pitch hit, and it gets through over at second. So what's been the defensive changes? Cesar Perez, has he come in?
Looks like Cesar Perez has come into shortstop now, and
yeah, Nathan Nicholson at centre field. So yeah.
Well, Vasek's had a good game. He's got 2 hits. He's got a walk. He's standing on first right now. He delivered that decisive 2 RBI single back in the second, which put the first 2 runs on the board for Port Adelaide. Kane Woolman up to bat, and then they'll turn it over to the top of the lineup. That goes awkwardly off Wade Moore, and flying into second is Vasek, so the tying run is in scoring position.
Definitely just got away from him there. He couldn't quite tell where it was, and
yeah, Vasek's a fast runner too, so yeah, not ideal.
Yeah, anything gets away from him there, it's quite easy for Vasek to take the base.
Vasek 2 for 2 with the single, and he's going to get over again. So now he is on third. This has become very effective for Port Adelaide.
This is definitely a nice situation to be in. Your leadoff gets on with a single and manages to get around to third base with none out.
Vasek 2 for 2. He's flown around the base pass. He's got the walk. He's got 2 RBIs. And he had that pivotal play back in the 5th inning. Or was it the fourth inning, sorry, where he threw the runner out that was challenging from third. He threw it from second back home. Vasek might be getting a couple votes.
He definitely looks like right now that he is pushing for at least 1, maybe even 2 votes.
Maybe 3 if he scores the tie.
If he scores right now.
Anthony Webster due up. He's got a double today, and he's walked. Kane Woolman, though, 0 for 2. Staying alive. You would expect nothing less than a close battle between teams that are separated by 1 point on the standings, who have a lot of familiarity with each other. How long of a drive would it be to Port Adelaide from Woodville? 10 minutes?
10, 15 minutes, yeah.
Certainly neighbors. Good at bat here from Kane Woolman, staying alive.
Just up the boulevard, yeah. He's battling for sure. He's hanging in there.
He's definitely knuckling down in there. He knows he doesn't have to do much. Even just putting the ball in play right now is enough to do something. It's a good hold right there.
Yeah, Wade Moore needed to block that, otherwise Vasek's flying.
Vasek would have been definitely ready down the line just then to anything gets away from the catcher, and he's trying to score.
Trying to find that tying run. Port Adelaide tied their last twilight game they played last week versus Glenelg, and they scored their tying runs in the top of the last, or bottom of the last innings.
Yeah, I think bottom of the last inning they scored a quick run from Brody single and Patrick Inglis's double. There it is.
Well, this is the top of what very well could be the last. What do you think, Tim? It's 7:50 right now. 8 o'clock is when we can't start a new inning. So you feel like, even if Port go quickly here, Woodville just going to try to take their time and seep this out. There's still no outs. Runner on first and third. This could be the last.
Could be a real challenge on here, yeah. They're they're in a good position, none out in first and third. So
top of the lineup, up to bat, you know.
Double play ball would be handy to take the run.
Ball goes to the outfield. It's going to be deep enough for the runner to score on a tag. It falls in anyways. Runner advancing to second. The throw gets away. And Anthony Webster has tied this game.
Just like that, it looked like Nick Vassett had a good read on that ball, and he never a chance. Runners on first and second. You've got young Flynn McKee up to bat here, and then up next you've got the Adelaide Giants player Brodie Ariola, who would be looking to do some damage if he gets up this inning.
Woolman on second, Webster on first. Webster has a couple hits today. That slips away, and both runners are going to be in scoring position. So the double play ball taken away.
That also takes away the easy out of a bunt play now. I definitely say that Flynn McKee will not be bunting anymore, and will have the green light to swing away.
Yeah, he did shape to bunt, but yeah, ball again got away. There's a bit of a issue, a bit of control here. It's just needs to find it.
Port Adelaide scored first. They were up 2-0. Woodville responded in the third with 4 runs of their own to make it 4-2. Port Adelaide scored 1 in the 5th, and now they've got 1 here in the 6th. And we're back to where we started, but it's a big advantage with 2 runners in scoring position and the 2, 3, 4 batters coming up with no outs. Flynn McKee is 0 for 3 today. Just 15 years old, we learned. That is crazy.
Yeah, but, you know, he might be 0 for 3 so far, but he's definitely put in some good at-bats.
He has. He's battled.
He's not what they'd call an easy out in baseball. He's definitely a guy that if you do struggle and you do leave something over the hard of the plate, he could definitely hit it hard off you, and you have to be very careful of that because, as we talked about before with Carly, he's not a little kid. He's quite a big boy for 15.
Well, we've had the mid-at-bat pitching change. Troy Wienert coming in from third base, and again, there'll be a bit of a shift, so Perez will go to third. Nicholson will go back to the field, and he'll go and play his regular spot at short. But Troy Wienert now coming in to throw. A very short stint for Nicholson on the mound. Now we get to see what Wienert can do versus former club.
Yeah, well, hopefully can get out a bit of a jam here. It's, yeah, second and third. So really good opportunity for Port here to pick a couple up. Yeah, under a lot of pressure. I think 2-0 count too. It's odd to see a mid-bat pitching change. So.
Wienert thrown right into the fire, eh, Jack?
Definitely, that's for sure. That is the definition of getting thrown into the fire. You've been thrown into an at-bat that's already started. You're
behind in the count.
You're behind in the count.
There's a runner on second.
And third.
And it's a tie ball game.
Yeah, so it doesn't get much more of thrown in the fire than that.
You'd almost rather have a guy on first, so at least you have the double play ball to try to look to, or the force out.
I know if you win it here, you're theoretically you trying to come in here and strike out 2 guys back to back, and then it's like, okay, I can get a ground ball or a fly out.
He does have Brodie Ariola on deck and Patrick Inglis. As this slips away, runners will hold.
Yeah, I think that'd be the best case scenario for Woodville right now. But
I definitely think that's what they would be hunting for right now. Yeah. If you're coming in to pitch in this situation, the strikeout is definitely a big part of the plan, I would say.
And it's a walk. At least it brings the force in anywhere.
Also brings the...
but it also brings Brodie Ariola to bat.
Yes.
Bases loaded for Brodie. He's 2 for 3. He's got a stolen base. He's scored a run.
I'm very intrigued to see how they will pitch to Brodie Ariola right here. Whether or not they're going to show him some respect or if they're going to challenge him straight up. Looks like I was right with that bit of respect that they're going to show him.
Yeah, got off-speed pitch to start with, but Yeah.
You can allow a run here, but you can't afford to allow 4. And Brody Ariola certainly has that capability. He's hit a grand slam this year already. He's got 4 home runs. He's got 17 RBI.
It's definitely the guy that if you leave something up over the middle of the plate, he could very easily put you out.
If you were to choose one guy in this Port Adelaide lineup to have up to bat with bases loaded and nobody out, who would you choose?
I think I'm definitely choosing Brody in this situation.
And it's probably the last guy you'd want to see from a Woodville point of view. Ariola, hard hit ball. It's his 3rd hit. It scores 1 run. It might score 2. Runners are going to be held up. But Brody Ariola has put the Magpies back in front.
Yeah, good hard hit ball. You jumped on that one.
There it is. You leave that, as we just talked about, you leave that fastball up over the plate, and he's very capable of getting his hands through and hitting it hard.
3 for 4 on the day, and all of his hits have been to the exact same spot over in left field. Great look from the drone shot from Spacequake Sports. Port Adelaide and Woodville put on the live stream tonight, and Port Adelaide and Woodville on the field have been putting on a show. Had 3 or 4 lead changes today. It was being close. Hard hit ball, and it gets through again.
Sending Flynn McKee as well. And
Flynn McKee will touch home, and Inglis.
Mix up on the bases here.
Yeah, Inglis has to go back, and he's now caught in a rundown as Brody Ariola will get to 3rd, and Ariola can even have a look at going home, but he won't, as Inglis is finally tagged out. Ariola does get to 3rd, but Inglis has his 3rd RBI of the game after he drives in 2.
A little bit of a mix-up on the base pass right there, but in the end, it's almost turned out to be worked out in Port Adelaide's favour. Brody with some heads-up base running, and as soon as the throw went across the diamond, he took off.
And watch Brody on the left. He was thinking for a brief moment. He was watching closely, but so was the Woodville player moving over. Either way, it is now a 7-4 Port Adelaide game. They've lost an out, but now things get interesting. And it's 7:58 right now, so Woodville will get a chance to respond, but we'll be done after that.
Yes, this will be the last. They're still worried about Brody Ariola on 3rd base right now. You know, for Wade Moore back there, he has to kind of be a bit of a brick wall to protect another run since there's only 1 out.
Did this game turn in that top of the 5th, or the bottom of the 4th inning rather, when it was runners on the corners for Woodville, 1 out. It was a strikeout and then a attempted steal from 2nd to 3rd. They didn't get the tag, but they threw the runner out. Nick Vassick gunned the runner down trying to steal from 3rd on the double steal, and that might have changed things around.
Changed the tides a little bit. They led off the next inning with back-to-back hits, and that brought them within 1. And when you're within 1 run, it's as easy as that to get some momentum rolling, and all of a sudden it turns into a bit of a bigger inning.
Yeah, definitely chipped their way back and got the momentum in their way. So, yeah, a few missed opportunities for Woodville. Yeah, none out, 1st and 2nd occupied. They it blew a big chance to really, put the game out of reach, and it's come back to haunt them at the minute.
John Hall's up to bat. Runner still on 3rd. It could be an important 4th run. It's Joel Chapman who's hitting .310, and then Ethan Marchioro who's reached twice coming up for Woodville. And then it's back to the top of the lineup. So if one of those guys can reach, then the wheels start turning a little bit. Will Ruzek go out for the last inning?
I have a funny feeling he might. Now that he's got a bit of a lead, I think Rue knows that if he's got the pitches, he knows that he can challenge guys up a little bit more and give up 1 run. But Rue knows he's probably good enough to get out of the inning anyway. And that will also save the Port Adelaide pitching staff for the weekend as well, if he can get through this whole game.
And as it stands, if Port Adelaide hold on here, they're playing Southern Districts, and the team there, they'll be the hunter, Port Adelaide, if they can hold on here. And the team they're hunting is Southern Districts, and they get a chance to take them out. This will be the 9th batter coming up with Mike Schrapel. You pitching on the weekend, Jack?
I probably will not be pitching on the weekend this week.
Staying in Adelaide this weekend, though, right?
I am.
Yeah,
I am.
Me too.
Not going over to. Where are they going this week? Melbourne.
Going to Melbourne. I mean, look, I do want to, but I've got my dad coming over in next week, and I haven't seen him in 3.5 years.
From Canada, right?
From Canada. Ball slips away. Brody Ariola has to retreat. They're going to try to make the throw to first. Brody Ariola could have gone. It'll still be runners on the corner.
He's trying to play it safe, though, you know. It's one of those things in this situation you want to play it base to base, as they would call it, in a way, you know. You don't need to get greedy in a situation and potentially run yourself out of an inning when someone's in the box who could easily get you a hit that now scores 2.
Yeah, trying to play it safe, Jack, and going. So, I mean, I've got my usual Tuesday broadcasts and work and stuff, but going on a plane, being around in Melbourne has me a little anxious. Don't want to be caught as a close contact or anything right before my dad comes, to be totally honest. So I know I can't eliminate all risk in my life, but I can try to eliminate it. But I would love to go to Melbourne. It was a great trip last time. Big swing and a miss.
Completely understandable.
Yeah, big at bat here. If he picks a hit up here, that's putting it probably beyond doubt, I would think. But yeah, 3 runs, it's still, you know, doable.
It's a great point. It makes that scramble where Brody was halfway home and back to third really crucial. Just trying to keep within earshot, Woodville, to try to mount a rally in the last, or the bottom of the last, rather. He's got 2 strikes on him.
Two count here, I believe. Nothing you can. You can't be too fine as a pitcher, but at the same time, you leave something over the plate, and it's.
Ooh. He'll get him looking, though. Schrapel doesn't love it. He's going to have a word with the umpire. It's not going to make a difference, but Port Adelaide get a string of hits, including a big 2 RBI single from Patrick Inglis. Brody Ariola and Anthony Webster also had RBIs. And we will head to the bottom of the 6th as Ruzic will go out to the mound. Woodville do keep it in touch. And look as the sun sets on the Adelaide, it'll set on the stream as well. Brought to you by Woodville and Port Adelaide. A gorgeous evening for baseball. He's getting a little dark out right now, though, and could we have some twilight chaos in the bottom of the last?
You definitely could. You've seen it at West Beach under the lights before. When it gets to this time of the day and the ball goes up in the air, it's quite a hard catch to make.
It's coming really dark all of a sudden, and it's been really cold as well. The Findon doctor's blown in, so yeah.
Joel Chapman leads things off. He's 0 for 2 on the day, but hitting .310 on the season. Ethan Marchioro, he's got 1 hit and he's reached twice. He stole a couple bags. If one of those gets on, it becomes interesting, doesn't it? Because Wade Moore, Todd Dunstall, Troy Nicholson, and Cesar Perez is a pretty heavy top of the lineup for Woodville. Is that the objective here for Woodville? Just get, I mean, obviously you want both, but just get one of these guys on.
I'd definitely say if you can get at least one of them on, you are looking at least at potentially trying to string a few hits together and bring the game within reason for the heart of the lineup with Cesar Perez and some of the guys like Troy Wiener as well that could hit the long ball and do some damage.
Yeah, well, Joel Chapman's been batting a lot more this year, you know, starting pitcher, but he's been used to hit a lot more and batting over 300. So he's a handy bat, can hit the long ball too. So and Ethan's had a good game tonight. So hopefully, yeah, for Woodville, he you know, can get some momentum going again.
It's probably handy that Joel Chapman is, even though he's hitting .310, is plucked near the bottom of the lineup for situations like this to get someone on to roll it over for the big RBI machines at the top of the lineup. Ruzic probably needs to stay aggressive here.
He definitely does. You know, challenge a few guys up here, and sometimes you know, you got 7 fielders out there behind you. Someone can hit the ball hard, but if he hits it hard straight to a fielder, that could be 1 out.
1-1 count coming against Joel Chapman. Flew out to right, grounded out to third. And he'll scoop one over towards left field. Does the Findon doctor have something to say here? It is going to be caught out in left field by Mike Schrapel, and it's a key first out for Port Adelaide.
Just like that. Sometimes you just got to put it over the plate enough for something to happen.
He sort of reached out a bit and pulled the ball, so it took a bit off it then. But a good start for Port, though.
Mark Ioro up to bat.
He's been having quite a good game, I believe.
Oh, unbelievable game.
He's got 1 hit, reached on an error, a few stolen bases.
Well, Southern Districts, I can report they're up 9-3 in the top of the 6th, so they're 3 outs away. They're hosting that game, I believe, so they're 3 outs away from moving to 22 points on the ladder. Kensington also won, so they go to 24. So the 6 didn't come any closer today. Makes this game even more important for both Woodville and Port Adelaide in their chase for that last final spot.
That looked like a pretty close pitch for him to lay off, and lucky he laid off it. It wasn't there.
Yeah, pretty speedy on the base paths, Ethan, so yeah.
And he's been a very patient bat today.
He has. He's definitely been in the box right now, knowing what he wants to hit. And from what I've seen today, it looks like he's definitely looking to punch that slider the other way. Looks like what the pitch he's looking for right now is that slider that Rue kind of leaves up a little bit.
Does he go to it 3-2? Probably not.
I think he might.
He might?
I think he might. Rue's got a lot of confidence in that pitch. He's been using it for quite some time.
And Mark Ioro on it and puts it to the outfield. It's his 2nd hit of the day. And Woodville have a beating heart.
There it is. That he's just looking for it. You know, yeah. He knows that for him as a lefty, it's always going to come into him. And
you predicted everything about that at bat there. What Rue was going to throw and what Ethan was looking for, and it's a runner on base and a guy with speed.
I feel as though here, though, you won't see him run too much.
Just try to protect that out.
Well, yeah, it's that situation. Like, obviously, you would like him to be able to steal second base, but if he gets a bad jump or Rue is somewhat quick down the plate, then all of a sudden you get thrown out at second base and you have 2 out, nobody on, and you've kind of killed the killed the momentum a little bit.
I suppose the Mark Ioro run isn't that important in the scheme of things, in terms of it's more important that Moore and Dunstall get on to give yourself a chance to tie the game, and you can't do that if Ethan gets thrown out stealing.
Yes.
You don't need speed right now on the base pass. You need a guy that's going to be moved around, because that's just how the math's going to work.
That's where it kind of goes for that base-to-base play style.
Up the middle, Mark Ioro might need a jump to get this one. They get 1 out. Can they end the game here? No, they can't. Wade Moore hustles that out.
Just
so they got the ground ball, but Wade Moore aboard.
As nice as, you know, it would have been for Ethan to steal second base, or attempt to steal second base. He could have been out of the double play, but at the same time, you know, that could have been the end of the game.
Todd Dunstall up to bat. Woodville down to their final out. Light. It's the last light of this twilight game.
It is. It's getting pretty dark, so... Yeah.
First pitch swing out towards center field. Moving under it is Inglis, and Port Adelaide storm back to win a crucial game. It went down to the last inning. It had a bit of drama. It had some nice defensive plays, and it had some clutch hitting.
Sure did.
Yeah, some really good fight back from Port Adelaide. They really hit the ball well when it counted. They were, you know, probably behind the game midway through, and battled well to fight back and get the win. So well done to them. Yeah.
3 runs in the last, 4 runs in the last inning for Port Adelaide, and I'm sure the boys will be feeling really good about that one, Jack O'Loughlin.
Oh, 100%. It's always nice to get a win on the board, and I thought both teams played a pretty good game of baseball, and it just turned out that it was just that little bit of a tighter small ball game play, that base to base, that helped us get across the line on that game.
Tim, very big thank you from everybody here to Cross Baseball SA Land for Woodville for hosting the live stream tonight, and Port Adelaide for chipping in and making it happen too. But we really appreciate you guys stepping up and bringing this up.
Thanks very much. Thanks for having us and coming out. It's been really good for the club, for both clubs really. It's nice to...
You treated us to a good one tonight.
Yeah, it's been a good entertaining game. It's a lot of long innings and some good hitting. So it's been a good game, and you know, kudos to Port Adelaide. They played really well and got the chocolates. So.
And Jack O'Loughlin, you can take away the professional pitcher off your resume, and you can put at the top baseball analyst on Spacequake live streams.
Hey, for sure. It was fun being out here, and thank you for asking me to do it, Eric.
No, I appreciate you coming out, Jack. It was a great game. Port Adelaide were up 2-0. Woodville made it 4-2, but Port Adelaide stormed back and clawed back to take it 7-4, and they become the team that is hunting down that last final spot, although Woodville still 1 point behind. On behalf of everybody that joined the live stream, Carly Moore, who was on earlier, Tim Fawcett, Jack O'Loughlin, producer Brandon on the switch, David Muggleton on the drone. I'm Eric Ballnar, and until next week, we'll see you then.